My name is Richard. I'm 74 years old now. I'm recording this because, I don't know. Maybe because I still think about her. Maybe because I want to say it out loud just once before I can't anymore. Her name was Sarah, and I still remember the day she chose someone else. I don't mean I remember it vaguely. I mean I can still see the exact color of the sky that evening. The way the clouds sat low over the parking lot. The way she looked at me when she said it. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. She just said, "I can't wait anymore, Richard." And that was it. I grew up poor. Not the kind of poor people make documentaries about, just the regular kind. The kind where you eat the same thing 4 nights in a row and no one complains because at least there's something to eat. My father worked at a factory. My mother cleaned houses for a few dollars a day. We lived in a small apartment with walls so thin you could hear the neighbor's television through the plaster. I was the eldest of 4. And I knew, even as a boy, that I would have to carry something heavy for a long time. I met Sarah when I was 22. She lived a few blocks over. Her father managed a hardware store. Nothing fancy, but stable, respectable. She used to walk past our neighborhood on her way to the library. I'd see her sometimes in the mornings when I was leaving for work. I worked at a print shop back then. My hands were always stained with ink. My clothes smelled like chemicals and paper dust. But she smiled at me once, just once. And I built an entire future in my head from that one smile. We started talking, slowly, carefully. She never made me feel small. Even though I knew that her life was easier than mine. That her father would never approve of someone like me, but she talked to me anyway. We'd meet near the park sometimes. Or by the coffee shop at the edge of town. Never for long. Just 15-20 minutes. She told me about the books she read. About her younger brother who wanted to be an engineer. About how she wanted to go to college, maybe even become a teacher one day. And I told her about my dreams too. I told her I was going to start my own business. That I was saving money. That one day, I'd have enough to give her the kind of life she deserved. She believed me. Or at least she acted like she did. 2 years went by like that. 2 years of stolen conversations. Of promises whispered in the corners of crowded streets. I was working 2 jobs by then. The print shop during the day. A night shift at a warehouse on weekends. I barely slept. But I didn't care. I thought I was building something. I thought if I just worked hard enough, long enough, everything would fall into place. I thought love was enough to wait on. Her father found out about us. I don't know how. Maybe someone saw us. Maybe she told her mother and it slipped out. But one evening, she came to meet me near the coffee shop, and I could see it in her face before she even spoke. She said her father was angry that he'd started looking at suitors. Real suitors, from families with steady income. With futures already built, she said. He won't wait, Richard. And I don't know how much longer I can either. I told her to trust me. I told her I was close. That I'd saved almost enough to rent a small place. That in 6 months, maybe a year, I could ask for her hand properly. She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, "A year is a long time when you're afraid of losing everything." I didn't understand what she meant. Not then. I thought she was just scared. I thought if I reassured her, if I showed her I was serious, she'd hold on a little longer. So I worked harder. I stopped seeing my friends. Stopped going home except to sleep. I took on extra shifts. I borrowed money from people I shouldn't have. I was so sure that if I could just get ahead, just a little bit ahead, everything would be okay. But I wasn't thinking about what it cost her to wait. I wasn't thinking about the pressure she was under, the men her father was bringing to meet her, the whispers in her neighborhood about why she wasn't married yet. I wasn't thinking about how lonely she must have been, holding on to a promise from a man who was too tired to even see her most weeks. I was thinking about the future. But she was living in the present, and the present was crushing her. 3 months later, she stopped meeting me. At first, I thought she was busy, or maybe her father had forbidden it. But then I heard she was engaged. To someone her father had chosen. A man with a job at the bank, a house, a car. A man who could give her stability right now, not someday. I went to see her one last time. I waited outside her street until I saw her leaving for the store. I called her name. She stopped. She didn't turn around right away. She just stood there, her back to me, holding her coat tight around her shoulders. When she finally looked at me, her eyes were red. She said, "I can't wait anymore, Richard." I said, "I'm almost there. Just give me a few more months." She shook her head. "I gave you 2 years," she said. I can't give you my whole life. I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her she was making a mistake. That this other man didn't love her the way I did. But I looked at her face and I realized something. She wasn't choosing him because she loved him more. She was choosing him because she was tired of being afraid. Afraid that I'd never have enough, that we'd spend our whole lives struggling. That her father would cut her off and she'd end up with nothing. She wasn't leaving me because I wasn't good enough. She was leaving me because I couldn't make her feel safe. I didn't say anything after that. I just nodded. And I walked away. I heard about her wedding a few months later. I didn't go. I couldn't, but I heard it was nice. That her husband's family treated her well. That they had a small house in a good part of town. I heard she smiled in the photos. Years passed. I kept working, kept saving. Eventually I did start that business I dreamed about, a small print shop. It didn't make me rich, but it was mine. I got married too. A few years later, to a woman my mother introduced me to. A good woman. We had 3 children. I built a life. But I never stopped thinking about Sarah. Not in the way you think. I didn't pine for her. I didn't wish I could go back and steal her away. I just thought about that moment, that last conversation. I can't wait anymore, Richard. I saw her once, maybe 15 years ago. I was at a wedding, someone's niece. I didn't even know whose, and she was there. She looked older, of course, but still her. Same eyes, same way of holding herself. She was with her husband and her children. 2 daughters, I think. She saw me too. We didn't speak. We just looked at each other across the hall for maybe 5 seconds. And then she looked away. I thought about going over, saying something. I don't know what, but what would I have said? I'm sorry I couldn't give you what you needed. I'm sorry I made you wait too long. She already knew. And she'd already chosen. I think about her now more than I should. I think about how hard I worked. How much I sacrificed. How I thought that if I just kept going, kept pushing, everything would work out. But I didn't realize that love isn't just about the future, it's about now. It's about making someone feel like they matter today, not just someday. I thought I was building something for her. But I was building it without her. And she couldn't live in a someday that might never come. I don't blame her. I did for a long time. I thought she gave up too easily. That she should have trusted me more. But I understand now, she didn't give up. She just chose to survive. And I can't be angry at someone for choosing to survive. I'm 74 now. My wife passed 3 years ago. My children live in other cities. I see them once, maybe twice a year. I live alone in the same house I built decades ago. And sometimes late at night, I still think about that evening by the coffee shop. I think about the way she looked at me when she said, I can't wait anymore. And I think about how I spent so much time trying to become enough that I forgot she just needed me to be present. I don't know if she ever thinks about me. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. But I know this. She made the right choice. Not because I wasn't good enough, but because I couldn't give her what she needed when she needed it. And that's not her fault. It's just the way it was. I'm recording this because I don't want to carry it alone anymore. I don't want to pretend it doesn't still sit in my chest, quiet and heavy after all these years. I loved her. And she loved me. But love wasn't enough. And I've spent a lifetime learning what that really means. If you stayed with me through this, thank you. I don't know what you'll take from it. Maybe nothing. But if you're waiting for the right moment to tell someone you love them, or to show up for them, or to stop putting off what matters, maybe don't wait as long as I did. Maybe just don't wait.